Although Kevin Huerter is coming off of a disappointing last season, he is still an elite shooter that can go off on any given night, and there is a perfect way for Mike Brown to utilize his skill set next season. Now guys, before we get into today's video, let me welcome you back to the channel, Kings Digest, where we're showcasing all of the upcoming Sacramento Kings news, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Now heading over into today's report, which is just basically going over the Kings roster heading into next season, as it states the Sacramento Kings have 4 clear starters in De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, who we recently acquired in a sign and trade this offseason, and Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis. The 5th starter is up in the air, with the popular question being, would you start Malik Monk or Keon Ellis? But forgotten in the mix is Kevin Huerter, who has started 134 of the 139 games he's played for the Sacramento Kings. And obviously, yes, he has been a bit forgotten since he is coming off of that disappointing last season, but without a doubt, he is still a starting level player and would make the starting rotation for a lot of rosters in today's league. But as this report further states, Huerter may come into the year and be put back into the starting spot, but with the current roster, his best role may be coming in as a scorer off the bench. And I do wholeheartedly agree with that, as I believe Kevin Huerter coming off the bench just gives us another reliable, consistent scorer to pair with Malik Monk, as I do think Keon Ellis deserves that starting spot, especially now with the roster McNair has crafted for us this offseason. Bringing in DeMar DeRozan, without a doubt, would probably propels us to top 5 offense in the West next season, but clearly DeMar DeRozan doesn't help us at all on the defensive end, and we are lacking, although we have all the offensive firepower in the world, and on paper is just ridiculous with De'Aaron Fox, DeRozan, Sabonis, and Keegan Murray. Like, it is insane, but we are lacking the defense in that starting rotation. So just putting Keon Ellis there to just play that menacing perimeter defense that we seen from him in the play-in tournament when he guarded Curry. His lateral quickness is insane, and he's just a freak athlete that can just stick to the offense like glue and just hound ball handlers and just disrupt the offense completely, leading to turnovers or just leading to bad shots, altogether. So I do believe Keon Ellis is the better fit for the starting rotation, and Kevin Huerter just coming off the bench to be, drop that consistent 10 to 15 points a game. As we head over into this other report here, is just goes over the Kings bench depth, really, as it states that Monk was masterful off the bench last season, finishing second in the Sixth Man of the Year award race. He led the way with 15.4 points a game last season, but no other reserve averaged over 10 points. Trey Lyles was the closest with 7.2. And it further states that outside of Monk, Sacramento didn't have anyone who could have a big game off the bench. Monk had 25 games last season with 20 or more points, but no other Kings reserve broke the 20-point mark. And that's absolutely insane to think how we did so well last season, comparably in the stacked Western Conference, with little to no help off the bench, with Malik Monk, carrying the offensive load on the bench solely himself, as it seems like, with 15.5 points a game, and the closest being Trey Lyles with 7.2. And you can rely on Malik Monk to do that consistently for you, as he's proven last season, but you can't really rely on Trey Lyles to go off on any given night and who else are we going to rely on? We aren't going to rely on Alex Len to give you buckets. So just having Kevin Huerter to come off the bench and just be another person who can get you 10 to 15 a night on good shooting splits. And even if he doesn't have, that bounce back year, I mean, he would still just be a massive upgrade coming off the bench, I believe. And as we head over to this other report, as it just states that Kevin Huerter has scored 20 plus 7 times last season and 17 the year prior. He can get on a heater from beyond the arc with the best of them and carry a team on his own. And that is without a doubt true. Although he didn't perform to his full potential last season, he can come back and be the player, be the sharpshooter that he was a couple of seasons ago. And I do believe that if he does do that, him and Malik Monk would just be such a deadly combination coming off the bench, as you got two elite scorers, one of them being a freak athlete in Malik Monk that gives you a dunk of the year candidate every other game, and then the other being Kevin Huerter, who's such an elite sniper. He can definitely go off, and once he gets going, he has the potential to just take over games with his elite shooting, and I do believe wholeheartedly he can come back and be that player for us next season. And I do think that coming off the bench would just be the best fit for him, honestly. And then let's just check some of his stats from last season, as even if he doesn't bounce back and perform better than he did last season, he didn't even perform all that bad. It just wasn't what we expected from Huerter and what we know Huerter is capable of, as he still put up 10 a game for us, with 2.5 assists as well, almost a steal a game, and shot 44% from the field and 36% from beyond the arc, which is not bad by any means. It's just that we all know that Kevin Huerter is capable of doing more and capable of shooting it at a higher percentage. But even if we get this version of Kevin Huerter to come off the bench paired with Malik Monk, especially since Malik Monk is such an underrated playmaker, I do believe that would just be a lethal combination and would just, propel our bench points per game, up to the upper half of the Western Conference next season. And as it is definitely in the lower half if you were to search it up, as we've really only got Malik Monk with 15.5, and then it's Trey Lyles with 7, and then Alex Len probably averages 2 or something. So just having even this version of Kevin Huerter would be ideal and would just be a better fit, and is something that I 100% believe Mike Brown should look into doing next season, even if it's for a couple of games just to test it out. I do think it would benefit just the roster we have now. It would just be beneficial to help us win a couple extra games next season. And just to head over into this last report here, it's just stating whether it's taking Monk's spot as the lead scorer off the bench or teaming up with Monk to become a 1-2 scoring punch together, Kevin Huerter could bring the Kings something they were lacking last season, a certified scorer to come in and get buckets on any given night. And without a doubt, I believe Kevin Huerter can come back and play to his full potential next season and come off that bench for us and form that deadly combination with Malik Monk and just give us 10 to 15 and give us a few 20 plus games next season just to help lead the bench with Malik Monk. And as I do believe that is in the Sacramento Kings' best interest. Now, folks, that's all for today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you all for all the recent support on the videos. I appreciate it so much. Now, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any future content. And let me know down below what you guys believe of this take. What do you guys think of this take? If you believe that Kevin Huerter would be more valuable off the bench or in that starting rotation. Now, that's all for today, guys. And see you guys in the next one. Peace out.